Hey everybody, Mr. McVeigh here. Welcome back. We're going to be graphing quadratic equations in standard form in this lesson. If you remember, standard form is the equation of a parabola is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. A parabola opens up when the a coefficient is positive and it opens down when the a coefficient is negative. The line or axis or line of symmetry is located at x equals minus b over 2a. Okay. We're going to look at an example here of x squared plus 2x minus 1. Okay, the first thing I notice is that I have a 1 for a coefficient and it's positive, so I know it opens up. So that's the first thing I know. Before I graph it, I already know it opens up, so it'll hold water. Now I have to find my axis of symmetry. I'm going to abbreviate that axis of symmetry. And that's at equal to, and if you remember, it's at minus b over 2a. So it's at minus b over 2a. And in this case, my b is 2, so that's going to be minus or negative 2 over 2 times my a coefficient is 1, and that negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. Okay, so that's my axis of symmetry. Now I'm going to come over here, since I know it's at negative 1, I'm just going to draw me a little dashed line in here so I know where it's at on my graph. Okay, there it is. And I'm going to label it negative 1 here. Okay. Now, I know my parabola axis of symmetry is at negative 1. It opens up, but I need to locate the vertical position of my vertex. And the way to do that is to take your x value, because this is at x. Okay, I take my x value and I substitute it back into my equation. So that's going to be negative 1 squared plus 2 times negative 1 minus 1. And when I do the arithmetic, I get y, this is y, or f of x, equals negative 2. Okay, so now my vertex, I know now, is it negative 1 and negative 2. So my vertex is right there, and I know it opens up. Before I draw it, I need a few more points. So here about in the middle, I'm going to put my 2 points, my point that I already have, or my coordinate pair that I already have of negative 1 and negative 2. I'm going to put it right about here in the center. Negative 1 and negative 2. And what I want to do is I want to pick a couple of numbers either side. So I'm going to pick negative 2 for an x, negative 3, and I want to plot another point or two. So how about 0 and 1? I'm just picking stuff that's really close to my vertex I already have. If I go too big of a number, my parabola will get really big real quick and it'll be off my graph. So I'm going to pick some that's close to my vertex. Okay, now for an example, I can take this 0 and I can substitute it in here. So 0 squared, y equals 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 1 equals negative 1. So I know that here I get a negative 1 in that particular location. Okay, I can choose, how about 1? So y equals 1 squared plus 2 times 1 minus 1 equals to 2. Now I have another location. Okay, I'm going to plot these points right now. Here's my vertex. So at 0, at x equals 0, I get negative 1. And at x equals 1, I've got 2. Well, I could actually put negative 2 into my equation and get my value out for y, but I know that these should be the same distance. Since this is the axis of symmetry, that's my axis of symmetry, I know that these locations of the points on the right-hand side that I've already plotted are the same distance away on the left-hand side. So all I have to do is say, well, this is 1, 2. So I can come right here and go 1, 2, and there's a point. And so that would be, what's it, 1, 2, 3. So that's negative 3. I'm going to get 2. And at negative 2, I'm sorry, at negative 1, 2, well, I don't have a point there, do I? I don't have a point, but I do have one at 0, and there's one right the other side of that, right here. And I can see now I have enough points to draw my parabola, and so it opens up. And it continues on. And so at negative 2, well, let me go ahead and put that point in there. So y equals negative 2 squared plus 2 times negative 2 minus 1. So that's 4 plus a negative 4. 0 is negative 1. And that is correct. Okay, now I need to know what my domain and range is. So my domain, remember that's the x input values. My domain goes on forever because this parabola keeps going on forever. So my domain is all real numbers. And my range, in this case, it starts here at negative 2. My parabola, my vertex of my parabola is at negative 2, which is at my vertex. So my vertex, I'm going to write that here, vertex, we already know, is at negative 1 and negative 2. So my range starts at negative 2, and so it's going to be y is greater than, because it's going up, it's getting bigger, is greater than or equal, it includes that 2, of negative 2. And so I have plotted this parabola, and I am done. Till next time.